Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our summer story time here at OCFA. My name is Brandi, and I am the Education Supervisor. I'm really excited to be able to spend some time with you guys this morning and read to you one of my favorite books, No Dragons for Tea. Let's hop right in and see what it has to say. One warm sunny day at the end of last week, my mom and I went for a walk to the creek. As I raced down the hill in my little red wagon, I veered to the left and smacked into a dragon. I suppose he could see there was fear in my eyes as I jumped to my feet, quite filled with surprise. He sheepishly grinned and stepped out of the way, but he seemed so polite that I asked him to play. He had a cute bear and some other toys too. With my shovel and pail, we'd have oodles to do. We ran to the creek, then on to the bay, where we played by the beach for the rest of the day. Then Mom waved and said, "Now it's time to go eat. Let's pack that red wagon and head up the street." It's hard to stop playing with friends old or new, so I asked if the dragon could come eat too. Mom wrinkled her brows and squinted her eyes, looking up at the dragon's incredible size. I begged and I pleaded, then I said, "Very sweet, we won't make a mess. We'll be tidy and neat." So at last she said, "Yes, just this once, I'll agree. You may have the dragon come over for tea." We had carrots and apples, thick slices of ham with fresh homemade biscuits and strawberry jam, cold glasses of milk and a great big dill pickle. But the pepper we sprinkled sure made my nose tickle. Then the dragon's nose twitched, he started to wheeze, his eyes misted up, and he blew a great sneeze. Let's sneeze on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Well, we all know what happens when dragons achoo. Flames shot from his mouth and from both nostrils too. Our tablecloth sparked and burst into flames, and the curtains that hung right beside did the same. The smoke alarm rang. What a loud, piercing sound. It meant, "Get out fast," so I dropped to the ground. The room filled with smoke as I crawled on the floor and started to make my way to the front door. The dragon got scared and decided to hide, but I knew when there's fire, we must get outside. I grabbed his thick tail and with one mighty tug, I pulled that big dragon from under the rug. I crept down the hallway and I said, "Follow me. I know the way out. We must meet by the tree." So Mom and the dragon and I all met there. Then that silly old dragon went back for his bear. Should we ever go back inside when there's fire? Never, right? Not even for our favorite toy or stuffed animal. We ran up and caught him and wouldn't let go. And I said, "Listen, dragon, here's what you should know. Don't ever go back. That just will not do. We can get a new bear, but we can't replace you." Since the fire was burning inside of our home, we went to the neighbors to borrow the phone. Mom knew what to dial and said, calm and clear, "Here's our full street address. Send the fire trucks here." Before very long, down our street they came sailing with bright red lights flashing and loud sirens wailing. The fire crew rushed to start work on their tasks. They were dressed in big boots and wore helmets and masks. They hooked up the hose and ran into the house where they sprayed streams of water in order to douse the table, the curtains, our lovely snack too, and it didn't take long till that fire was through. The fire chief called out the door with a shout, "The smoke made a mess, but the fire is out." My poor friend the dragon, he knew he was to blame, so he hung down his head and wept great tears of shame. One of the fire crew said, "Don't be sad. You knew what to do, and for that we're quite glad. You all got out safely. That's really what matters. Then took us to see the big pump trucks and ladders." The dragon put on a shiny red hat, and I asked to see where the fire crew sat. She showed us the sirens, the hoses and lights, and the ladders they climbed up to reach higher heights. The rest of the fire crew checked all the rooms, while a fan in the door blew out gray smoke and fumes. Then the dragon and I, we sat down for a while. I reached up and hugged him. He gave me a smile. The next time the dragon and I want to play, we'll pack up a picnic and go to the bay. We are friends, tried and true, the best we can be, but I'll never again invite dragons for tea. What a good book. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And before we go today, I want to ask you just a couple of things to make sure you know what to do if there's ever a fire in your house. In our story today, Mom was able to call the fire trucks out to the house to help with the fire. Does anyone know what number Mom called? I'll give you a second. That's right, 911. Make sure you know how to dial 911 on your phone, and make sure you know what a true emergency is when you'd need to dial it. In our story, when Dragon sneezed and there was fire everywhere, our smoke alarm went off to let us know that there was fire in the house and that we needed to get out. I want you guys to get your family together. Maybe you have some friends, your neighbors. Make sure you guys know where your smoke alarms are in your home. As a matter of fact, you can make a fun game out of it by seeing who could find the most smoke alarms in your home in the shortest amount of time. You also want to make sure that you have 2 ways out of every room, so if there's fire, you can crawl low and get out of the house. The last thing I want to tell you is don't ever go back inside if there's fire. Dragon wanted to go back for his favorite toy. You gotta remember, we can always get a new toy, we can always get a new blanket, we can always get a new stuffed animal, but we definitely can't replace you. Thank you so much for joining us today for our summer story time. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for the month of June at 10 o'clock.